Hey, welcome back everybody. It is Matthew with Watty's channel, and we are returning to the WWF LJN Wrestling Superstars review. Yes, we did complete all 6 series reviews in the past, but I did mention when we were doing the reviews, there were quite a few variants of the figures that I did not have on hand during those videos. And, me having the OCD that I have, a collection isn't complete unless I have absolutely everything. And at that time when I was making those videos, I'm like, okay, you know what? I have all the figures loose. I have almost everything on card. I'm good. But then actually making the videos and finding out just how many variants I was missing, I'm like, you know what? I'm not as close to complete as I thought I was. So at the completion of making those videos, I went all in on trying to acquire as many of those variants as I possibly could. So not only have I been going all in on variants, but also there were a few box sets during the course of those videos that I purchased. So I did. So part of this video is obviously variants. It's going to be variant heavy, but I'm also going to show off a few packages that I didn't have during the initial videos as well. So, per normal, we're going to dive straight into to the figures. So I didn't pull off every figure. For example, I'm not going to show the original figure that I would have shown in the original video. I'll use this one as a prime example. In Series 1, you would have seen the original up there, Roddy Piper figure, and with bright red boots. But you also would have seen Roddy Piper with more of a darker red or even brown colored boots. And here's a package. And if you actually see on the original prototype of the Roddy Piper, you got those really dark red, more of a brownish color. So that prototype is pretty much the coveted Roddy Piper figure. These boots, yes, a much darker version than what I have on my shelf right now. Still not quite the dark red that I'm really looking for, but it's definitely it is a darker shade, and right now it is enough for me to at least consider it a variant. So at least that's one variant I can knock off my list. So Roddy Piper, bright red boots, and now I've got the variant with the darker red / brownish variant Roddy Piper to include with among my loose collection. I'm moving on to Series 2. We all know about Greg Valentine. He had a couple of different variants. We all have belly buttons. That's nothing that's unusual. But they did have a Greg Valentine figure where they omitted the belly button. It's a very rare figure to find Greg Valentine without that belly button. Does it necessarily make this figure more valuable? Me personally, I say no. Whether it's Greg Valentine with a belly button or Greg Valentine without a belly button, it's the exact same figure. I say it's the exact same value as far as what it should cost to purchase this figure. But because people like me are looking to have both variants to complete a collection, obviously there are folks that are willing to pay up a little bit more to acquire that. That's why, yes, if you are looking for said variant, you're going to find this figure probably selling, $50, $80, crazy money. I think I was fortunate enough to get this for around $30 or something. And, it's got some markings on it. It's not pristine, 100% perfect condition or anything. And even at $30, $35, whatever it was I paid on this as a purchase price, I've got so many Greg Valentine figures on hand that it absolutely kills me. to had to pay $35 plus shipping and taxes. When I have Greg Valentine right now that I've been having on my eBay for like, I don't know, a year, and I had it listed for like $20, and I can't sell it, and I had to pay twice as much just to get this. And yes, I did check all of the figures that I have. I got like 5 or 6 extras. None of them have the no belly button, so I wanted it to complete the collection, so I had to fork up the money. But yes, Greg Valentine with no belly button is added to the collection. As we move on to Series 3, so we got Greg Valentine up there, then we go on to Series 3, and the next one up. So I'm just kind of looking at the shelf behind me. Next up, we got the, who is next? We got Bobby Heenan. Alright, so in the original Series 3 review of Bobby Heenan, he was actually the first figure among all the collections that I didn't have a carded figure for. Well, shortly, and I said during the video that I felt like he was one of those characters that you would think I would have. He would be like one of the easier figures to acquire. So there's no reason why I shouldn't have had a Bobby Heenan figure on card. Well, it didn't take me too long after that video was posted. Eventually I did acquire Bobby Heenan on card. So this one was Bobby Heenan without scrolls. Now the Bobby Heenan figure that I did have loose was Bobby Heenan with scrolls. So it was nice that I got Bobby Heenan carded without scrolls. But what did I have to do with the loose collection? Yep, I had to go out and find a Bobby Heenan loose without scrolls as well. Does that mean that I have to go out and find Bobby Heenan on card with scrolls? Eventually, yes. Right now, is it mandatory? No. Right now, just getting Bobby Heenan without scrolls to join the scroll version. It's just nice to have them side by side and have these two versions. So, I don't know. I kind of feel like because of the scrolls, they add that extra detail, that extra design, which you would think makes the figure so much better. It gives it, so much more to look at. You would think it would be so much more valuable, but for whatever reason, without scrolls is so much more rare and probably much more expensive, and I hate that. The scrolls, it's much more much more common, and I don't get it. To me, obviously, it would cost more to build a house that's 3,000 square feet than a house that's 2,500 square feet, right? So if you're designing something and you're adding that little extra, it might be such a small little detail, but it's enough. You're still spending more money to build something else onto a figure. So that expenditure it costs to build something onto it, it should be more money to have the scrolls than without it. But whatever. Luckily, I think I only paid like $15 maybe. So maybe, using a house as an example, maybe not such a great, comparison, but I think you guys get where I'm coming from, regardless. Alright, so after Bobby Heenan, we looked at all Corporal Kirchners, so we're good there. Next, from Series 3, we looked at the original Jesse Ventura. So, after that one, I did pick up the variant of Jesse Ventura. The regular Jesse Ventura is just plain blonde hair with like a very light pink pair of pants. The variant of Jesse Ventura has a much darker shade And I probably should have like really brought out all the figures, but I didn't do it. I didn't really think it was necessary. Um, so the variant, much darker shade of pink, and facial hair. You know, the mustache, not blonde, a very dark red or darker blonde, dirty blonde. You know, reddish hair, reddish mustache. You know, as far as color, obviously I like this one a whole lot better. So obviously the Jesse Ventura, you can actually classify. I would classify this as a nice variant. And a lot of people, and I've said it many times myself, a lot of people kind of feel like, you know, is this really a variant or is it just based on the manufacturer? Did they use a different kind of shade of paint when they colored this in? And I kind of asked that same question, but I don't know. It's different enough to the point where I feel like, you know what, if other people consider a variant, I'll consider a variant, and it's nice to have that differentiation, something for the shelves. So, Jesse Ventura number 2. Alright, so after Ventura, we already looked at the 3 different variations of the Jimmy Hart, and in fact, so when I first did the Series 3 review, we looked at the 3 loose figures of Jimmy Hart, and we also looked at, which one was it? We also looked at the carded Jimmy Hart with all the hearts on all sides. And for whatever reason, I decided to go out and buy another Jimmy Hart. This one, unlike the other one that had hearts on all sides, this one had no hearts on any sides. So it's nice to have at least 2 of the Jimmy Hart variants on card to go along with 3 of the different variants loose. So now I'm just missing on card Jimmy Hart with hearts on the side but no heart in the middle. And then I'll have the 3 carded versions as well. So that's a nice little addition there. And then, let's see, SD Jones. And then who was after SD? Okay, after SD Jones was Terry Funk. Actually, nope. After Macho Man. So after Macho Man was Lou Albano. Or did I skip somebody? Wait, nope. Up there. So, okay, so up after Bobby Heenan, Lou Albano was up there, so I missed Lou Albano. This wasn't really a variant though. I kind of messed up on this one. So I bought this one. I kind of looked at it kind of cross-eyed. Lou Albano has 2 variants. One with like an all red lapel type shirt, and that's what that one up there is. And this one, when I looked at it, all I saw was like this little white outline. When I got the figure in, I immediately realized how I messed up. It's not an all-white shirt. You can actually see the red at the top over here, which means that this white over here, it's just paint fade, which means that this isn't a variant. This is just a faded figure. So I basically spent about $25 or so, whatever it was I paid on this for no reason, because I can't resell this. If I try to sell this, I might get $10 for it. It's in good shape. I mean, it's got a lot of paint loss again, but I'm never going to find anyone to take that, money off my hands that I paid into it. So it's a waste of money for me. And like I said, if it was the actual variant, I would have been okay with what I paid for it. It's not. But for the sake of this video, consider this to be the variant. Right now, I'm sitting it behind that one because I don't have the actual variant. So imagine that red doesn't exist, and it's just this plain white shirt. That's what the Lou Albano variant is. One variant, red shirt, or red lapel kind of deal all the way down. The other one without. So, that's the Lou Albano version. And then we looked at Jimmy Hart. Next was Macho Man. Macho Man, very common, is Macho Man with like pink trunks and stars. There's a couple different Macho Man figures. One variant that I was able to acquire was a Macho Man, not with, light pink trunks, but more of a really dark purple pair of trunks. Dark pink or purple pair of trunks and knee pads. But it still comes with the stars on the trunks. So this is one type of variant. One variant that I'm probably never going to be able to come across. And if I ever do, if it ever comes on auction, I'll probably have to pay up a fortune for it. And right now, I probably won't have the ability to pay for it anymore. I pretty much maxed out my spending on this room. So as far as collectibles, I'm pretty much done. So the other variant is a Macho Man figure with no stars on his trunks. Very rare, probably super expensive. We may never come across it. If we do, again, we're probably going to have to pay up a fortune for it. So Macho Man original, pink trunks, variant, purple trunks, another variant with no stars on the trunks. Regardless, I mean, this figure is, you're generally looking at about a $30 figure, regardless of, which figure you're going to get. So I'm okay, spending $30, $35, whatever it was I paid for this. If I tried to resell this, I think I would still be able to get my money back. Maybe not right off the bat, but, if I think I listed it a few times, I think eventually it would resell. It would sell back, so I'm okay. I think this was a good buy. But like I said, this is for my collection, and I'm happy to have gotten it. Macho Man with dark purple trunks. Alright, so then we got SD Jones. Next one is... So this one, I actually did bring both versions because I wanted to give you a real up-close personal look at this one. So this is from Series 4, I believe. Are we in Series 4 yet? No, I think we're still in Series 3. Yeah, we're still in Series 3. Terry Funk. So this is the original Terry Funk I showed back in Series 3. And I'm just kind of showing this based on, his face. Alright? So, Series 3 Terry Funk. We all know this look. Not a big deal, right? So, what's so special about that Terry Funk? Not a whole lot. But this Terry Funk does have a big look to it. And just in case nobody has been able to pick it out yet, I'm going to try to get this as close as possible. Alright, so essentially, you've got the closed mouth Terry Funk, and then you've got the smiling Terry Funk. Yeah. Or, I don't know, closed mouth Terry Funk, or the teeth showing Terry Funk, however you want to call it. I think most people just say smiling Terry Funk. This one is probably my favorite variant. The smiling Funk or the teeth showing Funk. If he's not my favorite, he's probably one of my top 3 favorite variants. I think that one's pretty cool. Alright, so that's Terry Funk. Kind of looking at... Yeah, I'm trying to look at here. I'm trying to look at the shelf because I know I'm missing some folks. I think maybe... Yeah, you know what? I think Don Morocco might have actually been right here as well. Yeah, I think Don Morocco was right there. So, if that was Don Morocco, Alright, so Don Morocco, I showed this figure back in Series 3. And this is one I probably wasn't even too familiar with. And why does this Don Morocco get shown again? And I really had to show this one again because I had to show this one up close with his variant. Now, what do we notice about the original compared to the variant? Now, fortunately for me, I had enough duplicates where I went and I found this duplicate, I found this duplicate in my collection where I didn't have to buy another one. I just pulled it out of my duplicates and was able to put it directly on my shelf. So that saved me some money. Yep. So we've got the Don Morocco original with small lettering. And then we've got Don Morocco or Magnificent Morocco, whatever, with large lettering. And I just thought that was super cool. So it just depends on which preference you have as far as the lettering of the Don Morocco figure, which one you prefer better. Again, I don't really think the size of the lettering really makes a difference as to the value of the figure itself. I mean, everything else is, identical all around. It's just a fun figure all around, though. So that's pretty sweet. All right, I'll kind of look around. All right, okay. This one. I talked about this one. There was a seller in the UK who had this figure. And it was like 300 and some pounds, so you probably would have cost about $400 and some. And after shipping and taxes, you probably would have paid close to like $500 if I had gone and actually bought this at the time. He sold it to someone else at some point, but man, I was seriously considering buying this at that time. I'm so glad I didn't because I found this particular figure on auction here in the States, and it was starting bid of like $100, and I was the only bidder, and I won. It's not a mint figure by any means. It has very slight nose damage, nothing crazy. A little tiny damage to the left thumb. Paint loss on the boots and knee pads. You know what? For a 40-year-old figure, I can live with all that. Considering the rarity of this particular figure, with what I just described, for $100, I couldn't be more pleased. And from the Killer Bees, the B. Brian Blair yellow trunks, awesome. Absolutely love this variant. This might be, if not the most rare, definitely one of the top 3 or top 4 most rare variants in the LJN line. I still need Jim Brunzell. Jim Brunzell with yellow trunks. Will I ever come across that? I don't know. But at least getting B. Brian Blair, I mean, that's awesome. So, as we know with the original Killer Bee line, they have yellow trunks with like the black bumblebee, stripes across the trunks. This one just plain yellow trunks. Rare, super badass, love it. Awesome figure. Glad I got this one. Killer. Now, I didn't pull out the original, but alright, so Jake Roberts. Here is another great figure, right? So, in Series 4, we got Jake Roberts, right? Great figure. Awesome. Green pants. Got those little purple snakes design going down his pants. Alright, so what else do we get from Series 4? We also get the Jake Roberts with no snakes on the pants variant. So the seller I bought this from actually has several of these figures, so I'm starting to think that this one isn't as rare as you might think. And I was actually kind of concerned that maybe this was a repaint. The reason I was thinking that is the seller sold one to one buyer, and then they sold one to me for like $225. They came with the snake accessory, and I thought, okay, $225 for such a rare piece, that's awesome. But then I see them selling another one, just the figure for like on auction for like $80. Maybe it's just maybe because without the snake, and maybe it's not in as good condition. Maybe that's why they're selling it for less. But how do they end up with so many of these variants? But then I look at the paint, and I'm like, it doesn't feel, nor does it the color scheme look any different on here than it does on that. So if they did paint this, they did a fantastic job blending it with the original, because looking at it, I can't tell the difference. So I'm still working under the assumption that this is an original 100%. So, and I'm hoping it is, because if not, I'm gonna be ticked off. But yeah, the Jake Roberts without snake on the pants variant, again, another golden goose, I would say, among the variants for the LJN line. Absolute perfect, love it. And so that is all of the variants. Now, the only other carded figure that I purchased since the last collection have ended, I got this one off Mercari. And it's actually one of those figures I didn't think I'd actually acquire ever. And surprisingly, I actually thought that that the Ravishing Rick Rude was probably going to be the only Black Card series figure that I'd actually be able to acquire. But getting Haku was crazy. And there were some problems with the card, so I think that helped me to actually get a relatively good price on this, considering. And I think buying some things on Mercari compared to like eBay, obviously, that helps a whole lot. But adding this one along with the Big Boss Man figure I have, and then along with the re-releases of Hacksaw Jim Duggan and the white shirt and red shirt Hulk Hogan on Black Card, I got a pretty nice Black Card series collection. So the next, I'm not done with this series yet. I'm still gonna do more LJN Wrestling Superstars videos. I'm gonna do at least one more video. Are there more to come? Maybe, but I'm gonna do at least one more video. I'm planning one more video. So it's not part of the LJN or Grand Toys release, but the figures that were made by Random Treasures on Etsy, I'm going to do a special video for them. Well, not directly for them. I'm going to do it for the Series 6 per se figures, like your Bad News Brown, your Brother Love, your Bushwhackers, your Barbarian, characters like that. Your characters that were supposed to be released on the back of, your Grand Toys Series 6 card, but were never released. So once again, your Bad News Brown was on here, Brother Love, Bushwhackers, and again, Smash, Powers of Pain, so Barbarian, and yeah, so Smash was really the only one I didn't mention, and everyone else that's on here is just like re-releases. Elizabeth, $1 Million Man, Big John Studd, Macho Man, etc. So I'm gonna do a special video with those figures. I've been losing a lot of respect, not respect, but I just haven't been cherishing a lot of what Random Treasures has been doing lately, because to me, a lot of their figures haven't been haven't been good work. I haven't been a fan of a lot of their figures, but I think those particular figures for fans of LJN and for this particular line of figures, I would recommend at least those figures for these particular type of collectors, because if you do want to continue this line, continue this collection, or complete that particular set, those might be something you might want to consider picking up. And they're pretty solid figures. Barbarian is awesome. I think Brother Love was a great figure. Bushwhackers, I don't like the pose, but I think they're good display figures nonetheless. So it is something to consider. And that'll be a fun video to make, I think, one way or the other. Alright, well, I'm going to close the video here now, guys. Thank you so much for watching. As always, I really appreciate it. Let me know what you guys think. I will talk to you in the comments and see you in the next video. Goodbye, everyone.